Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you try, something in your game of seduction just doesn't quite click? You put in the effort, do everything you think you should, but you're not creating that immediate impact. Maybe you've noticed that the words you use don't resonate the way you'd like, that she seems distant or worse, that you can't hold her attention beyond a couple of brief smiles. The truth is, you're probably falling into what's common, predictable, those overused lines that every woman has heard 1,000 times and that no longer have any effect. But don't worry, because the solution is much closer than you think. You don't need to be someone else or reinvent yourself. You just need to learn how to use the right words, the ones that have the power to create an instant connection, to spark that moment every man is searching for, but few know how to ignite. Today, we're going to talk about those phrases that have the power to change everything. Phrases that will not only make you stand out, but put you in control, taking seduction to the next level, one where you decide how to handle the situation. My name is Celia, and if this is your first time here, I invite you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I guarantee that what's coming will not only surprise you, but also give you practical tools to generate instant and authentic attraction. Let's get started. 1. The phrase that sparks intrigue and attraction. Imagine you're having a light conversation, and suddenly, with a confident smile, you say, "Are you always this hard to ignore, or is it just with me?" Immediately, you create a powerful effect, intrigue. You've given her a compliment, but it's not the typical one. You're not putting her on a pedestal. Instead, you're giving just the right amount of attention while subtly challenging her. It's the perfect combination of interest and playfulness. This phrase has an instant impact because it plays with the psychology of push and pull. You make her feel seen, but at the same time, leave her with a little doubt, prompting her to wonder how special she really is to you, or if it's just a game. This ambiguity sparks her curiosity, and if there's something that instantly attracts a woman, it's not having everything laid out too clearly. The female mind, always seeking to solve mysteries, starts to work, and she may begin thinking about you more than she'd like to admit. With this phrase, seduction starts not with a typical compliment, but with curiosity, a powerful driver that often ignites desire. You're not just giving her attention, you're keeping that light control that sparks intrigue. The beauty of this phrase is that it doesn't put her in an uncomfortable position, but opens the door to a more playful and flirtatious conversation. The key is how you say it, with a playful yet confident tone. Because what truly attracts is not just the phrase itself, but the energy you project when you say it. 2. The phrase that challenges her independence. In the middle of the conversation, you drop a phrase that not only compliments her, but subtly challenges her. "I have a feeling you're one of those women who always get what they want. Or am I wrong?" Here, you're not simply admiring her strength, you're giving her a gentle challenge, making her think, and most importantly, piquing her interest. Because more often than not, what truly captivates a confident woman is a man who not only recognizes her independence but also tests it intelligently. This phrase works powerfully because she feels that you don't just see her as attractive, but as capable. You're acknowledging her, but then you introduce a little doubt that invites her to respond and prove that she knows what she wants and gets it. The challenge here is key. You're giving her control while maintaining a light sense of competition. What's fascinating is that confident, mature women enjoy this kind of psychological play. They don't seek empty compliments, but someone who sees them as equals, as a challenge. This phrase doesn't just provoke a verbal response, it triggers something deeper, the desire to prove herself and validate her strength in front of you. It's a dynamic that mixes respect and intrigue, moving beyond the physical into the realm of intellectual seduction. When you drop a phrase like this, you're entering her mind, making her think more than she expected. That small challenge activates her interest and creates an attraction that isn't direct but subtle and constant. 3. The phrase that sparks curiosity. I remember perfectly when a man said something similar to me during a casual conversation that I didn't expect to take that turn. We were talking about something completely ordinary, nothing out of the blue, when suddenly, in the middle of my explanation, he looked me in the eyes and said, "It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. It's intriguing." At that moment, it felt like time stopped for a second. It wasn't the typical compliment I'd heard so many times. It was something more subtle, deeper. It left me thinking, what exactly did he find intriguing? My way of speaking? How I expressed myself? Instead of feeling superficially flattered, I felt seen, but in a different way. He wasn't admiring the obvious, but something I hadn't even considered. The reason this phrase had such an impact on me was that it broke the routine of empty compliments. It wasn't about my looks, but something in my essence, in the way I carried myself. It made me question how I was presenting myself in that conversation, and, more importantly, what he was picking up on that I wasn't aware of. The intrigue sparked instantly. Without realizing it, I became more engaged in the conversation, wanting to know more because he had noticed something most men miss. And that's the magic of this phrase. It makes you think, leaving you with the feeling that the other person is really observing you in a way few do. It's not an obvious comment, it's an observation that pushes you to see yourself from another perspective. When he said those words, I felt a different connection, not based on physical attraction, but something more intellectual, something that stirs the desire to deepen the conversation and the connection. It's the feeling of being noticed in the details that truly captivates you. 4. The phrase that challenges her confidence. During a conversation, you drop a question that seems innocent but carries a clear message. You seem like the kind of woman who knows what she wants, or am I wrong? With this phrase, you're not just making a comment. You're introducing a challenge that directly plays with her sense of confidence and autonomy. You give her the power to define herself, but at the same time, you leave an open door for her to prove whether she's as sure of herself as she seems. This phrase generates an immediate reaction because it activates her need to affirm herself. Many women, especially confident and mature ones, are used to being perceived as strong and decisive, but by adding, "or am I wrong?" you leave doubt in the air, sparking her desire to confirm that yes, she knows exactly what she wants. By doing this, you create a dynamic of seduction based on respect and intrigue. It works so well because it's not a direct compliment nor a complete statement. You give her the opportunity to take control of the conversation and prove her confidence, something many women enjoy. This type of phrase plays with her mind. While she feels flattered by the recognition of her independence, she's also motivated to prove it to you. And that creates a light yet seductive tension in the conversation. 5. The phrase that awakens her curiosity. Imagine you're in the middle of a conversation, and suddenly, without any warning, you say, "There's something about you that's hard to explain, and I love it." This phrase immediately shifts the dynamic. You're expressing attraction, but you're not being specific, leaving room for her to wonder, to become intrigued. You're telling her she captivates you, but you're not revealing why, which triggers her mind to start spinning, trying to figure out what it is that fascinates you so much. It works because you don't give away all the details. You leave something hidden, creating an air of mystery around her. And women, especially those who've lived long enough to understand how seduction works, know that mystery is one of the most powerful ingredients for keeping interest alive. What we crave most is to know what's unsaid, what's hidden between the lines. This phrase taps deeply into female psychology because, as author Robert Greene explains in his book, The Art of Seduction, mystery generates a desire to discover more. Uncertainty, in this context, not only attracts, but also allows her imagination to fill in the blanks. She's likely to start wondering what it is you've noticed in her that others haven't, and that curiosity will lead her to feel more connected to you, even subconsciously striving to impress you more. The beauty of this phrase is that it can be used at almost any moment, and it will always have the same effect. It doesn't matter if you've just met or if you've been talking for a while. The key is that you leave space for her to wonder, to dive into her own mystery, and to start seeing you as someone who perceives things that others don't. If you're finding new ways to use words to create authentic attraction, I invite you to subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. By doing so, you support my work and motivate me to keep sharing these insights, and I'll deeply appreciate it. Stay with me until the end, because the most revealing part is yet to come. If you're looking to improve your interactions and master the art of seduction in an intelligent and respectful way, the final phrases I'll share could completely transform your approach and take your relationships to the next level. And tell me, where are you listening from? I'd love to know who's on the other side. Let's continue. 6. The phrase that awakens hidden desire. Imagine the conversation is flowing well, there's chemistry, and in a moment of pause you say, "If I weren't holding back, I'd probably be trying to kiss you right now." This phrase isn't just direct, it's powerful because it delivers two messages at once. On one hand, you're expressing your attraction and interest, and on the other, you're showing self-control, which in itself is incredibly seductive. It works because you make your attraction clear, but at the same time, you let her know you're not driven by impulse. Rather than moving forward aggressively, you stop just at the edge, creating a type of tension that's hard to ignore. This balance between what you want to do and what you choose not to do is what keeps attraction alive. This phrase also instantly sparks her desire because it leaves her with a mental image of what could happen if there wasn't that restraint. And that in itself is a subtle yet powerful invitation. It's not a direct proposal, but it's something that can't easily be dismissed. She'll get the message, the desire is there, simmering, but your self-control is what really makes an impact. By using this phrase, you keep her intrigued, wondering what it would be like if you decided to stop holding back. That expectation, that tension, is what generates irresistible attraction. According to studies on the psychology of seduction, contained desire, when handled well, is one of the most powerful tools for maintaining maximum sexual tension. 7. The phrase that challenges her balance. Imagine you're having a relaxed conversation. The dialogue is flowing effortlessly, and in an unexpected moment you say, "I'm not sure what it is, but there's something about you that really tests me." With this phrase, you're acknowledging her power over you, but in a subtle way that leaves her intrigued and feeling slightly challenged. You're not telling her exactly what it is that attracts or tests you, which invites her to want to figure it out. It works because it triggers her need to know what part of her is causing you to feel this way. You're letting her know that in some way she's having an effect on you, but you're not giving away all the details. This type of phrase gives her a mix of satisfaction, knowing she has your interest and curiosity to understand what aspect of her personality challenges you. Moreover, many women, especially confident and mature ones, enjoy the feeling of having control over an emotional situation. By throwing out a phrase like this, you're offering her the chance to explore that sense of dominance, knowing she tests you even if she didn't necessarily plan it. The tension this phrase creates is perfect for sparking a seduction game rooted in mystery and personal challenge. 8. The phrase that sparks laughter, loaded with attraction. Now, imagine in the middle of a light-hearted chat, after some playful back and forth, you smile and say, "I'm not saying I'm staring at you, but if I were, it definitely wouldn't be by accident." This phrase combines humor and seduction, two elements that together have an incredible effect. It's not a comment loaded with pressure or intensity. It's light, playful, but with a clear hint of interest. And that's precisely what makes it so effective. It works because humor breaks down barriers. Instead of going straight to physical attraction, you use laughter as a tool to create comfort, while subtly signaling your interest. The phrase not only draws a smile, but also plants an idea in her mind. You're saying something without fully saying it, leaving the door open for the conversation to continue flowing naturally and flirtatiously. What's most attractive here is the blend of wit and cheekiness. You're playing with the situation in a way that makes her feel relaxed, but also aware that there's more behind your words. Additionally, this phrase creates a fun kind of tension that can lead the conversation to deeper levels of intimacy without the need for heavy or awkward comments. 9. The phrase that highlights her uniqueness. In the middle of a quiet chat, Maybe you're discussing something seemingly unimportant, and that's when you say, "You have a way of making the simplest things seem so much more interesting." With this phrase, you're recognizing something deeper than her appearance or even her way of speaking. You're highlighting her ability to transform the ordinary into something special, something many women don't hear often. It works because you're focusing on a quality she may not even realize she possesses. You're not talking about the obvious, like her physical attractiveness, but about the energy she brings to everyday moments, making her feel seen in a unique way. This sparks her interest because you're pointing out a deeper value in her, while also subtly implying that being with her makes any moment special. This kind of comment creates an instant emotional connection because you're not just giving a compliment, you're making her see that you appreciate the details that make her different. Mature women especially value this kind of observation because it shows you're not just looking at the surface, and that creates an attraction that goes beyond the physical, leading to an emotional bond and a sense of shared intimacy. 10. The phrase that sparks pleasant surprise. In the middle of a light, casual conversation with no big expectations, you suddenly say, "I'm not sure if I should say this, but I'm already having more fun than I expected." This phrase is a subtle seduction bomb because it combines surprise, delight, and a touch of mystery. You're acknowledging that being with her is exceeding your expectations, but you're doing it in a way that's not over the top, with just the right spark of surprise that will make her smile. It works because by telling her you're having more fun than anticipated, you're implying that she's broken through the norm and captured your attention in a way you didn't foresee. This gives her a sense of validation while keeping the mood light and playful. The power of this phrase lies in the fact that it not only makes her feel good, but it also introduces an element of unpredictability, which naturally sparks more interest in you. This kind of comment ignites attraction because, without giving a direct compliment, you're letting her know that there's something about her that has shifted the course of the interaction, which is always a great sign in the game of seduction. According to studies on emotional seduction, women enjoy feeling that they can surprise and elicit an unexpected reaction. This kind of phrase creates an atmosphere of mystery that she'll want to explore further. At the end of the day, what truly seduces aren't empty words or compliments repeated over and over again. Real attraction is born from connection, from understanding how a gesture or phrase can resonate beyond the surface and touch something deeper in the other person. What we've explored today is how these phrases, when used wisely, can create an instant spark, a bridge to a more authentic and meaningful relationship. It's not just about winning someone over, but about truly knowing them, about awakening something real in both the other person and yourself. These phrases aren't just tools of seduction, they are invitations to explore a more complex space where respect, curiosity, and desire intertwine. Because in the end, everything you say and do reflects who you are and how you connect with others. If you can grasp those subtleties and understand what truly moves the other person, you'll be building a more genuine and lasting relationship. My name is Celia, and I want this to be a place of wisdom where we can discuss these important topics openly, but always with respect. Together, I hope we can find ways to improve our everyday lives, not just in intimate relationships, but in everything we do. Because in the end, every small change we make within ourselves reflects in our relationships and overall well-being. If this is your first time on the channel, I invite you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming topics we'll be covering. And if you've made it this far, it means you take your personal growth seriously, and that deserves recognition. So, to know who made it to the end, comment the phrase, "I love wisdom," and tell me where you're listening from. I'd love to read your messages and see who's with me on this journey of self-discovery. And don't leave without sharing this video with your loved ones. Maybe someone in your life needs to hear these words today and find a new perspective. Sometimes a small piece of advice can make a big difference. See you in the next video.